A reinvigorated Albion are in Tyneside for the 5th round of the FA Cup. They're now looking to make it 5 consecutive wins in all competitions, and some fans might be daring to dream about another push for European football next season. The start of this winning run came in the last round against Chelsea, and a win today would get them to within 1 game of another trip to Wembley. This is Harvey Barnes just hurdling away from a couple of challenges, then bringing Livramento into play. Now Gordon into Barnes again. Van Hecke slides to ground and the ball into the back post. There's an Isak Webster in the way, and then Isak hits it over. Hugely important bit of defending there from Adam Webster at the back post. The standing captain stepping up and doing the business there defensively. Just lifted towards that back post by Barnes, and then Webster gets in the way of the Isak attempt. And it was on target as well. Verbruggen congratulates him. Opening few minutes, and it's Newcastle who've had the best chance of the game so far. So Eddie Howe has talked of the respect he has for the Albion, and Fabian Hürzeler labelling this tie as do or die for the Seagulls. Webster just to place the header into Hinshelwood, and then Belaber is looking forward to João Pedro, who gets it back from Jorginho. This could be a decent first chance for the Seagulls. Goes down there, João Pedro, just on the edge of the area. Back to his feet now. Not too many complaints from the Albion players. Looks as though he might have just been winded there, the Brazilian. Well, right on the edge of the area. Doesn't get too much of the ball, Dan Burn. Now Gordon can take over. Isak back to goal with a little layoff in here to Joe Linton, who's looking for the return pass. Now Livramento. Oh, is that a late challenge there from Minte? Anthony Taylor says yes and points to the spot. 20 minutes played, and it's the hosts who have a penalty. Minte protests his innocence. It's fizzed into Livramento there. Well, easy for me to say, but need another look at that really. Hard to see if he just gets a toe end on that one. This is the angle that we need. He might just be a touch too late there, Yankuba Minte. There's nothing really obvious enough to overturn the on-field decision from Anthony Taylor. So I would expect the penalty to stand, and it does look as though the on-field decision will stand. Minte now knows what he's done. There were some doubts about whether Isak would be fit enough to start this one. Wilson on the bench, but he has been thrusted back into the starting lineup. And just midway through this first half, a golden opportunity to give Newcastle the lead. Isak thunders it into the top left corner. Well, Verbruggen was never going to save that. Emphatic strike from the Sweden international, and it is the hosts who have the lead. Well, still plenty of time for the Seagulls to turn this one around. Still got 3/4 of the game left. Piercing strike from the spot from Alexander Isak. Expect nothing less. Verbruggen at full stretch. Still not really getting close to it. Into that top left corner, and work to do for Fabian Hürzeler's side in the FA Cup. That's a good ball into Mitoma. He's able to turn there and find João Pedro, just trying to prod it back into his path. Dan Burn running back towards his own goal and can only find a clearance out to Estupiñán. Now Hinshelwood chips one over to the far side. Livramento can head it, but Minte's interested here up against Gordon. Good work to head it back towards Lamptey. He has to get his body across of Gordon there. Just got muddled up slightly as he was scampering back there, Lamptey. and a triggered booking from Anthony Taylor. He did well there to get his body in the way, but in doing so he left the door open for Gordon to go on the inside again, and that meant that he took one for the team there, Lamptey, with that challenge. Yeah, just sensing perhaps that both teams are maybe ready for half-time now. Dust themselves down and go again in the second 45. Lamptey lobbing that one down the line, and Minte is able to find the midriff of João Pedro, and Minte's played in here one-on-one for the leveller. He's done it against his old side. A muted celebration from Yankuba Minte. Well, no muted celebrations from the travelling Albion fans. That is about right for this first half. Great move from the Seagulls. It's a perfectly weighted ball through to Yankuba Minte, and he finds the finish. Maybe that this goes down as an own goal. João Pedro it is, with the perfect through ball, and then Minte slides it in. Trippier was there sliding back. He gets the final touch. I think the shot was on target though, so this will go down as a goal for the former Newcastle United midfielder Yankuba Minte. The Albion are back level. Well, I said it was an important phase of the game. And on the balance of play, it's probably about right. Webster again just surveying what's ahead of him before pumping it up towards Jorginho, just over his head. But João Pedro will latch onto this one. João Pedro for 2-1, save from Dubravka. Well, the momentum starting to turn the Albion's way. A few errors creeping in at the back from the Magpies. Just ghosted in there, João Pedro draws the save. Now Gordon, trying to get the better of Minte. Maybe slightly tired legs. Van Hecker with the header away as far as Guimaraes. Bruno Guimaraes now into Isak. Great block in there from Hinchelwood. Just thrown himself at that one to deny Isak. Rightly so, he gets a pat on the head there. Guimaraes could have pulled the trigger there. Sells the dummy. And then he just wears one in the chest there, does Hinchelwood. A little bit lower than the chest actually. That's going to wind him. Burns there. Webster gets the flick on though. It's been an interesting battle between two old teammates. Now Isak. Livramento to deliver on. How has Willock not got there? Not sure if it was a bit too far in front of him or if he just mistimes his leap here. Good little looped ball in from Livramento. Maybe Stupinian does well there just to distract Willock. He's behind him. He'll want that again, the former Arsenal player. Now Mitoma. Going up against Dan Burn. Inside of him is Gomez. Fairly rigid defence and lines of defence from the host. Estupinian down the line into Mitoma with the pullback. Into that corridor of uncertainty, but there was no yellow shirt there to stick it in. Does everything that's asked of him there really. Just begging to be prodded in. But nothing doing for the Albion. Corner slip there from Gordon has allowed in Gruder. Looking for the ball into Gomez. Just to his left is Mitoma if he can find him. Mitoma will pick it up here. Back to Gomez. Loads of black and white shirts in the way, but Gruder can have a go now. Looking for the ball into Estupinian. Murphy in the way. Isak Just double team there for a moment by Webster and Gomez. Now Jorginho. They find another FA Cup goal. Instead, Lamptey can take over. In towards João Pedro. Dan Burn gets there first. Gomez makes a use of himself. Now Mitoma. Gruder lifts it high, leaning back. And just alleviates a bit of pressure on the home side. Burn with the header away here to Gomez, who just throws his body at it. You thought it may have fell to Mitoma, but he unselfishly offloads to Gruder. And well, maybe just half a check from the VAR. Share. Outside of the boot onto the head of Van Hecker. Gomez can't keep it under his spell, so Guimaraes was there. Now Gordon through into Isak. Just trying to get goal side of him there was Vita. Flag has gone up on this near side. Well, Gordon needs to be careful there. He's just gone in on a challenge with Van Hecker, clutching the back of his head. Well, he's laughing at... Oh, red card's out of Anthony Taylor's pocket. Who's it for, though? I think it's Anthony Gordon. It is. Well, Van Hecker went down, just clutching the back of his head. Gordon was laughing it off. But Anthony Taylor, very decisive. It's offside anyway from Isak. But just keep your eyes here on Anthony Gordon after the challenge. Oh, and he's just hit the back of the head there from Van Hecker. Taylor saw the whole thing. There we go. It's almost like a right jab on the back of Van Hecker's head. Oh, crikey. Well, he can have absolutely no complaints. With both hands, he shoved Van Hecker in the head. Marching orders for Anthony Gordon. One-man advantage for the Albion with 6 minutes to go of the 90. Mitoma, faced up there by Livramento. Now Lamptey, behind it goes for the corner. And the body language from the hosts, again, understandably, has totally changed now. They just want to shape up and hang in there for extra time. Whereas for the Seagulls, they would love to pounce now and get the job done and into the quarter-final. Gruder it is to send it over. Unmarked there is Jack Hinshelwood. Great juggling! Oh, and he gets the shot off as well. Now Mitoma. They're just keeping as many black and white shirts back there as they can. This is exquisite though from Jack Hinshelwood. Juggles it over to Nali and then lets fly. Newcastle players in the way, throwing themselves at it. And there are 6 minutes at least to be added on. Is there enough time for a winner for Fabian Hürzeler's side? Lamptey at full stretch there. Oh, well, it might just be levelled up here. Second yellow for Tariq Lamptey. Well, boost again for the home side. Well, it's hard to make a case for Tariq Lamptey. He knows it, overstretches himself. Well, I've said a number of times that both teams have been fully committed, and that's shown in the challenges today. No malice in it at all. Very calm about the situation, Tariq Lamptey. So that evens things up on the body count. No touch on it from Lamptey, and then just the leg flies through into Jacob Murphy. So now the home fans will be thinking game on, 10 on 10 in added on time at the end of this 5th round tie. Extra time looming for Fabian Hürzeler's side. Guimaraes waiting for the whistle, composing himself. Fizzed in! And it's a winner for Newcastle. Heartbreak for the Seagulls. Just one moment switching off. And a piercing finish on the volley from Fabian Schär. He was left unmarked. Initially didn't look as though he's offside. Of course it will be checked. Well, he gave Verbruggen no chance. Ooh, and that is incredibly tight. Is Cher offside? Is his shoulder offside there? Well, this is one for the semi-automated offside. An anxious wait for the home fans, even more anxious for the away fans, because if the goal stands, that is the Seagulls out of the FA Cup for this season. Signalled the VAR, but hasn't signalled a goal or disallowed. Tense in St James's Park for everybody.
Newcastle number 5,
He's offside. The Albion is still in it. Anthony Taylor tells the whole crowd what the semi-automated decision was. It did take quite a while. Everybody on the edge of their seat in the ground. Oh, does it get tighter than that? It's the head and the left shoulder of Cher offside. Actually getting a telling off from Andy Madley. So there we have it, extra time at St James's Park. Webster up to Welbeck. Newcastle player just stumbles. This could be it maybe for the Albion. Into Gomez! Save from Dubravka. Welbeck still going. Joao Pedro trying to stab it home. Attack not over just yet. Vifa! Oh, and it's just deflected wide. Well, it was Livramento who stumbled. Welbeck unselfishly plays it into Gomez, and there's a little flick taking it back on target there, I think, from Cher, which makes the save even more incredible from Dubravka. Right, it's Livramento. Handball. Blimey. It's been missed. So in the 100th minute, the game has come to life once again. And we see it again. That's the save from Dubravka. May have been unsighted as well, which makes it even better. Firm right hand to deny the Seagulls. Willock with the effort on the near post, and credit to Verbruggen, stayed aware at his near post, had to get everything behind that, puts it behind for the corner. It's a good little prod down the channel there from Jacob Murphy, and on the angle, it's a save you'd expect Verbruggen to make, but he had to be switched on. This is Murphy again now, chance to run at Vifa, onto his left foot, captain in the way, but it'll fall for Tonali. Just collects it, and a low ball across, oh, and off Verbruggen, and then Wilson. Vifa with the scooped clearance. Almighty scramble at times here. And then Joao Pedro with the clearance over his head. The relatively fresh legs of Brian Gruder giving chase. And Dubravka finds a way out only as far as Joao Pedro. Gruder maybe just for a moment was offside there, but he gets back onside. There's space over on that right-hand side, opening up nicely now for Solly March. Taking his time and played in to Danny Welbeck! Yes! Astonishing! Remarkable! Extraordinary! It had to be Danny Welbeck to silence the Newcastle fans with 6 minutes of the extra time to go. It's sublime from the Seagulls. Breathless, almost speechless. I'll try and find the words for you. March is just invited forward. Sensibly plays an incredibly weighted ball through to Danny Welbeck, who lifts it into the roof of the net. The professional that Danny Welbeck is absolutely loves it. As soon as he got the ball there, you fancied him. Under so much pressure, he's taken the chance, and perhaps he has won this crazy FA Cup tie and a route through to the quarter-finals. You can see what the Newcastle players think of it. So good. And rightly so, Welbeck celebrates. Sensational stuff from the Seagulls. And it's that guy Welbs. Brilliant. Dan Burn to deliver one left-footed. Underneath it is Wilson. So too is Adam Webster. Celebrates with Max FIFA. One more clearance completed. They've got at least one more to do here from this corner. Another take for the left foot of Matt Targett. Now 3 minutes to go. In towards Verbruggen, and he punches away again. It'll fall to Tonali. We've seen this kind of play so much, and now Dan Burn, inches wide. Oh, he would have absolutely loved that. The ex-Brighton player for his local side fizzes it wide of the post. Gets a sweet strike behind it, and it really is inches wide. The Albion live to fight another day, and they still have the lead. Hurzler's history makers are through to the FA Cup quarter-finals. It's Welbeck wizardry that has won it late on in the second half of extra time. In one of the most extraordinary FA Cup ties that the Albion have played a part in. Where do you start with that? They went behind to an Alexander Isak penalty, which seems like a distant age ago in that first half. Then just before the break, Minte it was who levelled it up into the second half. And then comes the chaos. First of all, it was Gordon who was sent off for what can only be described as an attack on Jan-Paul van Hecke, straight red for him. But then just before the end of normal time, Lamptey was given his second yellow card, and off the back of that free kick, Cher nodded what Newcastle thought to be the leveller, only to be denied by the tightest of margins, 10 apiece into extra time. And it is that guy Welbs who does it and wins it for the Seagulls. What an incredible afternoon. So after extra time in the FA Cup 5th round at St James's Park, it finishes Newcastle 1, Albion 2.